Hi, welcome to Chez Les Fleur podcast. And we are always focusing on women in business, small business retail, all the exciting things that entrepreneurial people do. So if you're watching because you have a business, or you're watching because you would like to have a business, or if you're watching because you just plain love to hear about the tenacity of entrepreneurs, we welcome you. Today's guest is Pam Van Nest, and she has a coaching business, but she doesn't do things like business coaching. She focuses on taking control of your emotional confidence. And I think that is fascinating because it's that whole emotional intelligence is so important. And you don't want to hear from me. You really want to hear from her. So, Pam, welcome to the show. I'm really glad that you could take time to be with us today. And you have a coaching business, but you came to it from the teaching profession. So, tell us about that.
Yes, I did. I was a teacher for a long time, originally in the state of Maine. I'm from the United States, and I moved here 34 years ago and continued in special education when I got here. And over the years, the job changed, it morphed into other things. And one of the opportunities that came about was instructional coaching. And this is a new type of position at Kawartha Pine Ridge. So we were introduced to it. I can't say we were really trained in it, but we were introduced to it. We were given some workshops. But I'm a lifetime learner, and I saw a course offered at Trent University about coaching in the workplace. And I thought, hey, that would help me with my job, working with teachers, helping them improve what they do. And I found out that the type of coaching that I was doing as a teacher was very different than life coaching, or the kind of coaching I'm doing now. But it had helped a lot. I learned a lot about myself and other people, and I was able to get a coach. And one of the things that I loved about it was that the questions that the coach asked me, and where I explored things. And so I said to her one time, I think I might want to do this when I retire in 5 years or so. And so as it turned out, I decided not to just ditch my job. And I decided to continue on teaching until I retired in 2011. And by then I had some foundational courses in coaching. I was able to use a little bit of it in the instructional coaching. And then I thought to myself, about September, October, I don't want to get to be 70 years old and think back and say, darn, I wish I'd been certified as a coach. So that following January, and for the next 6 months, I took the certification course through Coaches Training Institute, and I became a certified professional coactive coach. And so part of doing that was you had to have at least five paying clients. They could pay you any amount. And so as I began to do that, one of the other calls, they said, well, now that you have these paying clients, you have a business. And I thought, oh, it was not in my future plans to start a business, but I loved this whole coaching thing, and the people I worked with, I could see the progress they were making. So I was like, okay, what am I going to call my business? So I liked my initials, PVN. I went, okay, I'm PVN Coaching. So I know people say you should have a business plan and all of that stuff, but I just kind of jumped into it feet first, and I've been learning ever since.
Wow. Yeah. And I think a lot of people do that. Jump in feet first. They recognize the skill they have. They recognize that it's marketable. And I think a lot of people do that. And it all works out.
Yeah, it does. And being a lifelong learner, it's a good thing, because I'm learning still today, learning how to build this business, run this business. And I'm in groups with like people like you that have been in a long time. And so I learn all kinds of little things that I can do to improve.
So you do coaching in groups and you do individual coaching. What do you find is the difference in preparing for, say, a group coaching session versus an individual coaching session?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. I'm going to start with the individual. In individual coaching session, I just bring my curiosity. That's all I bring. And so a person, usually it's a woman, will come and they will have a topic, an issue that they want to work on. They want to move beyond. They want to understand better. And through that, I just get curious and I ask questions. And I do have some specific areas that I want them to delve into, particularly around their deep wisdom, because we all have a deep wisdom that I don't think we recognize it. And I never know where it's going to go. But I always ask near the end, what are you going to do to keep yourself moving forward? So that's individual coaching. And it usually, it can be once a week. It could be every other week. And then after 3 months, we reevaluate and see, where are you now? Do you want to continue? So that's individual coaching. Now, group coaching is a little bit different. There, I usually come up with some kind of a theme. One year it was change, radical change. How do you meet change in your life? And then I market that through either Facebook. And so I gather women that are interested in making a change in their life, or self-compassion was a theme that I did. I did a retreat, which was a group coaching program. And I have to plan out those. So I decide what the direction is going to be, the theme is going to be. But then when I get to the call and I share what the topic and do a little bit of training on that topic, what I've learned anyway, then I turn it over to the women. And sometimes if it's a small group, if it's online, we stay in the group and we just talk about what their experience is with this particular topic, whether it's being kind to themselves or it's change in their life. And then we'll have some time for reflection. I've also worked with my daughter, who's a sound healing facilitator, and we'll have some time for a sound bath so people can rest, take in what they have shared, take in what I've shared with them. And then by the end of that particular meeting, I will offer a challenge for them to do for the next week before the next meeting. And so it's a little bit different. It takes a little bit more planning for a group program. But one of the benefits of a group program is that I can't coach each person individually each week. But by coaching one person for 15 to 20 minutes, the other women that are listening, they put it in context of their situation and their life. And they get something as well as the person's being coached directly. So it's kind of cool.
It is cool. I'm listening to what you're saying, and I know of a family. They have 6 children, and they all take piano lessons, and they have the piano teacher come to the house. And the piano teacher starts with the most advanced student, which makes sense because then the brothers and sisters coming up behind already have an idea of where they're headed, which I think is fabulous. And that's what I'm hearing you say. You may be coaching one person and the others are listening, and maybe they're thinking, well, that's not relevant to me at this moment. But somewhere down the road, they pull that little piece of information out and go, I know what to do now.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, that's true.
So you also do some other things to support your coaching business that take us down, and you must have a favorite.
I do, yeah. And right now, currently, I am using and in part of the positive intelligence program. And so actually, I'm able to bring people through a 7-8 week program that really delves into our saboteurs and our deep wisdom and how we can put into practice ways to change some of our negative habits that we have. So that's currently, but I have other tools. Because I guess I was a teacher, one of the things I loved to do was take the information I had to teach the kids, but turn it into a game. So a couple of years ago, I was thinking, how can I turn what I know into a game? And so it's a tool. It's actually a tool I sort of use in the coaching, but I have tried it out with some women. And it involves 4 women sitting at a table, and one woman shares something about their life that they want to change. The other 3 women have cards in front of them, and as they're listening, they are trying to, from the cards they choose, they're trying to figure out, what is this person feeling at this moment? What do they need? What's from the cards, what's a practical experience they might use in the situation? And then what's a positive thing that they could say to themselves that would help? So the other 3 women, they offer the woman, I call it on a heart seat, they offer this woman the cards, and she considers them, and she picks one from each category. So she has to identify, how does she feel? What does she need? What's something practical from what she's been given that she could do? And then a positive statement that she could take back with her. And I've done it a couple of times, and the women that gathered nobody knew each other. But when we finished, people got in, they felt as though they had a little bit of direction on the issue that they talked about. But the support and the bonds that were made in that short session were amazing. When we open ourselves up, and then when we listen to one another. So that's one of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, I can certainly see that, because it takes that piece of, am I the only one that has this issue, feels this way? All those things that we say to ourselves, am I the only one I've got to be the only one that feels this way? And you find out that, there's a lot of help out there. There's a lot of camaraderie and friendship and all the things that help us do what we do.
Yeah. And understanding. And I think one of the things, I've had a couple of clients this past couple of weeks have said, oh, I don't think I've ever said this out loud. And they said, it's interesting talking about this. I can do it in my head, but talking about it, they said, oh, I can see it much more clearly. And it's the same thing with this group of women with the tools. When they speak it out loud and someone receives it, then you're exactly right. People realize they're not alone, but it also puts it into perspective.
Yeah. And it does make a difference saying it out loud than saying it in your head.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So with your coaching practice, you also have joined Women's Business Network. So you hang out with all sorts of business women, and you volunteer with Women's Business Network. Tell us about what you do there.
Yes, I'm on the board of directors. I am the director at large. And I always laugh at that because I'm a really short person. So director at large. And my role is actually to encourage women to speak about their businesses by sponsoring a meeting. And they can bring information, and they have 2 minutes at the mic, and they can do a slideshow. So I help walk them through that. And then I'm also in charge of, if there's a businesswoman that has a bricks and mortar store, that they can invite other WBN members to come and visit their place of business. And we usually have a good time. There's always something good to eat, and there are always some games, but it's the connecting with one another at the time. And I'm in charge of getting the vendor tables available for people. And my latest job was actually to write a press release for our gala that's coming up for our auction. So that's what I do.
It sounds like you're the director of networking for Women's Business Network members, because that
yeah.
seems to be all bringing us all together at different times and events. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
I never thought of it that way. I like that.
Yeah. Well, Pam, I really loved having this time to talk with you today. What we like to do at the end of our podcast is I like to fire off some questions that we need a quick answer for before we close. So if you are good with that, I've got some quick questions for you.
Okay. Well,
So
it's been a joy talking with you too, Janet. I always enjoy it.
it's always great to talk to you, and you're always so insightful and wise and fun and all those great things. And I appreciate you being on the show today.
Thanks.
Okay, if you're ready for some questions, I am.
I'm ready.
Okay. Paper or tablet?
Paper. I still like to write it out longhand, in cursive, no less.
What? Socks or slippers?
Slippers.
Jazz or folk?
Folk.
Fries or onion rings?
Fries.
Lake or pool?
Oh, lake.
Excellent. Pam, again, thank you for being with us. I really appreciate your time, and it's always exciting to hear what you're doing, and you're kind and you're wise, and you do so much for people to, help people really be themselves and be as great as they can be. And, that's really inspiring.
Thanks, Janet.
Thank you for watching our show today. If you are new to Chez Les Fleur podcast, welcome. If you are watching us and you've come back to us, we're glad to have you back. Our podcast talks about women in business, women who have the entrepreneurial spirit and are fulfilling their dreams, and the tenacity and the excitement that all that brings, as well as the challenges and the problems. And it's just a lot of fun. So we appreciate everybody being here today with us. And again, thank you, Pam, for your time today. See you soon.
Janet. Bye.